at it again, baby, and we have another one with the brother Thomas Sowell and a gentleman that you guys have been telling me to check out quite a bit in the comment section, Walter Williams. Let's dive in.
And one that we're going to start off talking about is life at the bottom.
Oh, yes.
And Tom says that that poverty used to mean hunger, inadequate clothing, and protection against inadequate protection against the elements. And that's what poverty was when Thomas Sowell and I were young.
Yeah.
But it's not poverty today, is it, Tom?
Oh, good grief, no. I mean, most of the people who are below the official poverty line in the United States have color television, microwave ovens, and own either a car or a truck. Now, we didn't call that anything like poverty when I was growing up.
Oh, that's right. And in some cases, according to a study by the Heritage Foundation, I think 16% of people who are called poor, who fit the census definition as poor, 14 to 15% have 2 or more cars.
Oh, yes, yes.
14 to 15% of the people that are considered poor have 2 cars. I want to say I said this in a previous video. I understand that things aren't perfect, but we have to be appreciative of where we are. I want to say I saw statistics at some point in time that the poorest people in America are still richer than like some ginormous portion of the world. It was some crazy statistic. I don't remember the exact statistic. If you guys know what I'm talking about, please comment it below. But I just remember being in shock, like, what? The poorest people in America are still richer than some crazy number of people across the world. It was just wild to even think about. And yeah, thinking about that statement, people have color TVs, a car to drive, a roof over their head. Of course, you do have homeless people and things like that, of course. But for the most part, people that are under the poverty line have a lot more luxuries than a lot of other people. But that's just a part of life. There's always going to be the poor and there's always going to be the rich. Like, I feel like that's just a part of it. But maybe I'm wrong. Y'all let me know in the comment section how you feeling. Talk to me.
As poor, 14 to 15% have 2 or more cars.
Oh, yes, yes. When I was doing research, I found that hundreds of thousands of people with incomes below $20,000 a year live in houses costing $300,000 or more. Now, as of the time I discovered that,
Whoa.
Live in houses costing to the people with incomes below $20,000 a year.
Incomes below $20,000.
Live in houses costing $300,000 or more.
Live in houses that are costing $300,000. How does the math on that even work? Are we talking like duplexes? Like, is that like a tainted a statistic? And what I mean by that, is that taking like all housing into account? Does because you could live in like a duplex with 4 different apartments or something, and that counts as a $300,000 home, and you only make 20. But it looks like you live in a $300,000 home, and you only make 20,000. But really, it's like a quadplex or a duplex, and really you're splitting the cost with another tenant or other tenants in that situation. I just don't see how the math works out on that. But I don't know. Y'all let me know. Thomas Sowell is usually bringing the facts, so I'm inclined to believe him. But I don't know. That one sounds a little wild to me. I might have to do my own double checking on that when I get a chance to. But y'all let me know.
Now, as of the time I discovered that, I was living in a house costing less than $300,000.
Now, I think that one of the wonderful things about your writing is that, well, you're saying some of these things that we observe in the United States are not unique to the United States, and they're not by no means unique to Black Americans. And and this book that you talk about in this particular column is called Life at the Bottom by, what is it, Dalrymple?
Theodore Dalrymple.
Dalrymple.
He was a doctor in a predominantly white, low-income neighborhood in England.
Yeah, and you're saying that he's talking about the same kind of things about whites, lower class whites in England that we can say about the lower class blacks and whites in the United States.
Yeah, and I think it may be easier for some people to understand what's really involved, because so much of what is done in the black community that's counterproductive is taught is explained away as a legacy of slavery or Jim Crow and all that. And you see the exact same things happening in these lower class white communities in England, where none of those things apply. One of the most striking is the beating up of children in school by their classmates when the children are trying to get a decent education. In fact, Dalrymple, as a doctor, has treated many of these kids because they need medical attention. They've been beaten up that badly.
Yeah.
And when that happens in the United States, it's called they're accusing the black students who are trying to learn of acting white. Well, the whole racial thing.
Yeah, definitely heard that in school. Why you acting white? Looking back on it, it's such a stupid statement, because you're trying to learn. You're accused of being or acting white. Why you acting white? What? Come on, man.
The black students who are trying to learn of acting white. Well, the whole racial thing is gone in these lower class white communities. So really, this is not something peculiar to the United States, but it's what happens when you have a welfare state that allows people to live a counterproductive lifestyle, and that welfare state is accompanied by an ideology that accepts, apologizes for, even glorifies that lifestyle.
Yeah, it glorifies and promotes that lifestyle. But also we saw some of it in England in Britain during the riots of last summer.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love people who say, well, these riots are a result of anger at poverty and so forth and so on. And there's never been so much anger as there is today when there's so little poverty.
That's right. And you see the riot.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, these riots are a result of poverty. Well, do you realize people now are the richest they've ever been across the board? Doesn't make sense, huh?
There is today when there's so little poverty.
That's right. And you see the rioters in sometimes in designer clothing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one thing back in the days when poor people were desperate and would steal bread. In all these riots that I know about, I have never seen anybody break into a bakery and steal bread.
They're stealing television sets and Xboxes and all this stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, there's another very interesting article that you have in your book called "The Older Budweiser." And it goes back to way back to the Habsburg Empire, where the Czechs and Germans, people of Czech ancestry and people of German ancestry, speaking different languages, got along very well up until what?
Up until you got a rising class of Czech intellectuals who resented the fact that they had to learn German in order to get ahead. Now, this they blamed on the Germans, but they should blame it on history. The fact is that the Western European nations had written languages centuries before most of the Eastern European nations, mainly because the Germans conquered Western Europe and the Romans conquered Western Europe and brought Roman letters until it was centuries later before they began to have letters for the languages of Eastern Europe. Well, what that meant was that if you wanted to learn, science or any serious subject, you had a better shot at it if you learned some Western European language, in this case German, rather than be confined to the local language.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and the Czech intellectuals. They started telling the people, the Czechs in Budweiser, saying there had to be cultural identity and.
That is really locking people in a blind alley. I mean, we call it multiculturalism today. But to me, multiculturalism is like the caste system. It means it confines you to where you happen to have been born, regardless of how many opportunities there are in the world for you to advance by learning something else beyond where you were born.
Yeah, right.
The caste system. See, and a lot of this stuff I've never heard of it, like the caste system. I've never heard of that a day in my life. Thomas Sowell teaching us day by day. I love it. Learning new knowledge all the time.
And we see that in United States
Acquiring
as well.
New knowledge.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's led by the intelligentsia in our country on college campuses. They even have vice presidents for diversity.
Oh gosh. Oh yes.
I mean, spending millions of dollars all over our country at universities, driving up the cost of the university by having all these offices, nonsense offices that did not exist yesteryear.
That's true, but the vast amount of money that they waste is really the least of it. What they really waste that's more valuable is the time of the students who, after all, are young and inexperienced. They may think it's wonderful to sit around and rap about racial issues or glass ceilings and all that kind of stuff. But none of that is going to allow them to have a marketable skill when they leave that institution.
Ooh, speaking facts. You sitting around talking all day about race and all this other stuff. That don't get you a job when you leave that university. That is true. That is facts. But yeah, the cost of college has gone through the roof, and you have presidents of diversity. What is sheesh Louise, why do you even need a president of diversity? I don't think that you do. Whoever's qualified is qualified, and who isn't is just not qualified. White, black, blue, purple, tall, short, fat, skinny, straight, gay, lesbian, don't matter. If you're qualified, you're qualified. That should be it. It should be that simple. I don't understand. Y'all let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. Who wins is who wins. We ain't giving out participation trophies. But I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. Y'all talk to me.
But none of that is going to allow them to have a marketable skill when they leave that institution. And this is the problem. This is the problem in a number of countries, not just in the Habsburg Empire, but around the world and into the present time. That wherever you have a newly arising intelligentsia from some group that is poorer, they typically specialize in the softer subjects. They do not learn science, math, medicine, all that kind of stuff. They learn all kinds of stuff that's much easier. And then when they get out into the world and discover there's absolutely no demand for that kind of stuff, then they become identity merchants.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the I think it's one of the things that you're to be complimented on in the sense that you bring an international perspective to many of these problems that we face as a nation. That is, affirmative action is not only a disaster in the United States, but it's a disaster in India. It's been a disaster everywhere it's been tried, in Sri Lanka and all these other places. And I think that we gain something if we recognize that, these problems, these social problems or economic problems, are not unique to any particular culture.
Oh, absolutely. And most of the countries where they've pushed preferential policies for one group, they argue as if what's something peculiar to that particular country is the reason. For example, in New Zealand, they say, there's the Treaty of Waitangi in 1843, and that's why the Maoris deserve preferential treatment. And here it's another rationale. In India, it's another. But whatever the rationales, the patterns are just painfully similar.
That's right. And a scientist would not go.
And I love that he expanded it farther than just the borders of the U.S. He went around the world and looked at other similar situations. I would love to hear anyone who is for some of these policies to try to refute that argument. I would love to hear a debate about it personally, to see what they had to say. Maybe there's some information that I'm not privy to, or I don't know about. Maybe Thomas doesn't know about it. I would love to hear somebody argue against it. If there are any videos where someone is arguing against that, let me know. I'll definitely check it out.
Patterns are just painfully similar.
That's right. And a scientist would not go from New York to London and saying, well, the law of gravity operates differently in London because of because of the Roman conquest.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom.
And ironically, the Roman conquest is what put England on the map.
Oh, that's right. They took them out of the caves.
Oh, that's right. And Churchill, obviously a British patriot, nevertheless said, "We owe London to Rome. The British didn't build London. The Romans built London."
Hey, Tom, we're going to take a short break, but after this, we're going to take a few calls.
Walter and Thomas, great conversation. Learned some things that I didn't even know or even have heard of before. The caste system. Like I said before, it's always great to check out Thomas. Always acquiring new knowledge when I watch some of these videos. But like I said before, I would love to hear or watch a video of someone trying to refute that argument, explaining some of these things away. I don't want to just, like I said before, I don't want to just hear one side, if at all possible. I like to hear both sides of an argument, both sides. Whether or not I agree with it is irrelevant. I still want to hear it, because maybe there's even a tidbit of it that I'm like, okay, didn't know that. There's some bit of knowledge from it that, I didn't know. I think that's how we all should be. We should always want to hear both sides of an argument. Even if the side that we already listened to sounded really, really good, we still should want to hear a counter argument, because maybe the counter argument sounds even better than the original argument. So yeah, please, if there is a video refuting any of this, send it to me. Comment it in the comment section, leave the link, or DM me on social media. The links to my social media accounts are in the description box below. It's The Real Doc Rich on Instagram and Twitter. All right. But yeah, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button before you go. All right. We'll greatly appreciate it. And even if you only comment something, you can comment anything you want to. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm. So please leave a comment and a like. Peace and love. I'm out.